Hi, I'm Chris Young from AttachMate's North American Consulting Division, and in this video I'm going to show how you can automatically apply encryption with Reflection 2011. Do you have a regulatory initiative where you need to apply encryption to your emulation sessions and you'd like to do it without lots of work? Well, now you can. So what does your process look like when you're using many different emulation vendors? Well, first you got to sift through lots of different session files. You got to teach your users all the different ways to update those sessions. Then you got to worry they're going to corrupt something along the way. Finally, you have to constantly monitor them and make sure that they have indeed converted to SSL versus the AttachMate way, where you simply automatically and invisibly upgrade the session file when they open it, and then you save those changes to persist them permanently. The AttachMate product that supports this capability is called Reflection 2011. It's our next-gen terminal emulator. It's Win 7 certified and written in .NET from the ground up. It can natively open many of our competitors' files such as IBM PCOM, Rumba, any of the legacy AttachMate products, or Host Explorer. And I'll point out that it can also preserve many of those customization files like macros and keyboards. It's got an event-based API that allows us to check for and upgrade to SSL whenever a session is open, and this allows us to leave the current sessions in place and SSL them at runtime. So how does this all work? Well, Reflection incorporates a very powerful event-driven API, and it can detect when certain events happen, like a session opening. And once that session opens, Reflection can then verify whether SSL or TLS has been enabled. And if it isn't, Reflection can automatically disconnect the session, it can apply those changes, and then it will reconnect it. And once it's reconnected, Reflection can then save those changes so that that SSL upgrade lasts permanently. Now we're going to go ahead and cut over to a demo of Reflection in action. And the first thing we're going to do is open up one of our unsecured session files. And you'll notice that after we get this open, down here in the status bar, you'll notice that there is a lack of a lock feature that's showing us that it's not secure. We're going to go into connectivity and see that we're connecting to our Dallas host on port 623. And we're finally going to go in and basically check our security settings and show that right now we're not secure. We're going to open our VBA editor, and we're going to go in where we administer over those events. This is the procedure that executes anytime a new view has opened. And you can see we're going to check to see if we're dealing with an IBM terminal here and if encryption is not already applied. Then we're going to look at our old host name and port and do a translation to a new value. We're going to disconnect the session, reapply those SSL settings. Then we're going to establish our new host name, and we're going to go ahead and connect. And then we'll handle any errors that should happen on that disconnect. Now this is our little translation table that basically takes our old host name and port, and if it contains the word Dallas, we're going to go ahead and convert that over to use port 723. Now this could be anything. We could connect to a database here. We could define this stuff in an XML file. The idea is to give us an old and new port mapping. So now that we've applied these settings, I'm going to go ahead and close this session file and reopen it. And you'll see that we get a quick pop-up that shows us that it's converting us to SSL. Note the lock down bottom that says, yes, we are indeed running SSL now. And you can see we have some other file types here. Here was a legacy EDP. If we do file open, we can see all the different support for the different files, including PCOM, as well as some of the older AttachMate formats and Rumba. With those, we have the capability to go ahead and open them either from File Explorer, or we can do the File New. You can see this EDP file is quickly converting, and we will hardly even see the flash up. It's already converted it for us. Here is a .ws file. This is a PCOM file. You see we get that quick little splash, and now we're converted to SSL. Right now we don't have the Rumba file type association for WDM, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the open command here, and it should prompt me what I want to use for a file type association. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to use the reflection frame. And now from this point forward, we can just double click on a WDM file and it will open inside of Reflection. You can see that it's secure. The idea is you could run PCOM and Rumba in parallel and then one day flip the file type associations, and all your users would be automatically converted on the fly as soon as they move over to Reflection. One of the last and probably perhaps best features that I want to point out is that Reflection doesn't restrict this concept to just existing sessions. It also can apply these same settings to new sessions. So if a user comes in and tries to connect to Dallas on an unsecure port, creating their own dynamic session with file new, it will also catch that information and upgrade them to SSL on the fly. Now to recap. Reflection has a powerful API to manage emulation components. It can detect and upgrade to SSL or TLS automatically, and you can save and preserve those changes permanently. I also want to point out that AttachMate has a complementary product called Reflection Security Gateway. It integrates with Reflection 2011, and it solves many of the server-side problems that go along with enabling SSL or TLS. And it can implement SSO, single sign-on, or two-factor authentication, and for the security conscious, that's really going to increase your available security. If you'd like to dive deeper into any of the concepts covered in this video, or you're interested in learning more about Reflection Security Gateway, please contact me at chris.young@attachmate.com or see your local AttachMate account representative.